If you have ever heard someone say that tomatoes can inflame or damage your prostate, and if that statement has left you confused or worried about whether you should continue eating this common food, you are definitely not alone. This is one of the most frequent questions I receive from my patients, and the confusion is completely understandable. When you search online for information about prostate health and diet, you encounter so many conflicting opinions and contradictory advice that it becomes nearly impossible to know what is actually true and what is just myth or misunderstanding. The internet is filled with claims that certain foods, including tomatoes, are dangerous for your prostate, while other sources say the exact opposite. Some articles warn you to avoid acidic foods completely, while others recommend tomatoes as a superfood for prostate protection. This conflicting information creates anxiety and uncertainty, especially for men over 50 who are already dealing with prostate symptoms or who want to prevent problems before they start. You deserve clear, science-based answers that you can trust and apply to your daily life. My name is Dr. Isabel López, and I am a urologist who specializes in men's health, particularly for men over 50 who are concerned about prostate wellness and disease prevention. Today I am going to explain, using solid scientific evidence and clinical research, what we actually know about tomatoes and prostate health. I am going to separate fact from fiction, show you what the research really says, and give you practical guidance on how to include or exclude tomatoes from your diet based on your individual situation. I want to know where you are watching from today. Drop your city or country in the comments below so I can see how far our community reaches. And make sure to follow this channel because I am committed to providing men with accurate, actionable information that cuts through the noise and confusion. By the end of this video, you will have complete clarity about whether tomatoes are a friend or foe to your prostate, and you will understand exactly how to make this food work for your health rather than against it. Let me address the origin of this myth directly so you understand where this fear about tomatoes comes from and why it persists despite lacking scientific support. The idea that tomatoes are harmful to the prostate stems primarily from misunderstandings and incorrect interpretations about the acidity of tomatoes and how that acidity affects your body. Many people assume that because tomatoes taste acidic, they must create an acidic environment in your body that promotes inflammation or disease. But this is not how human physiology actually works. Your body tightly regulates its pH balance through sophisticated buffering systems in your blood and organs, and the acidity or alkalinity of individual foods has virtually no impact on your overall body pH or your prostate health. What matters far more is the nutrient content of the food, the bioactive compounds it contains, and how those compounds interact with your cells and tissues. When we look at tomatoes through this scientific lens, the picture becomes completely different from the myth. There is absolutely no credible scientific evidence linking tomato consumption to increased risk of prostate cancer, benign prostate enlargement, or prostate inflammation. In fact, when you examine the peer-reviewed research published in respected medical journals, you find exactly the opposite. Multiple large-scale population studies and controlled clinical trials show that men who consume tomatoes and tomato-based products regularly have lower rates of prostate disease and better overall prostate health compared to men who avoid these foods. The key compound responsible for these protective effects is lycopene, which is the red pigment that gives tomatoes their characteristic color. Lycopene is a powerful antioxidant and cellular protector, and understanding how it works in your prostate tissue is essential to making informed decisions about your diet. The myth about tomatoes being dangerous is not just wrong. It is preventing men from accessing one of nature's most effective tools for prostate protection and disease prevention. Understanding how to combine tomatoes with other foods to maximize lycopene absorption is just as important as choosing to eat tomatoes in the first place. Lycopene is what scientists call a fat-soluble nutrient, which means it dissolves in fat rather than water. When you consume lycopene without any dietary fat present, your intestines struggle to absorb it, and most of it passes through your system unused. But when you pair tomatoes with healthy fats, absorption increases dramatically, sometimes by as much as 2 to 5 times. The best fats to combine with tomatoes are those found in extra virgin olive oil, avocados, nuts like almonds and walnuts, and fatty fish like salmon. These foods provide monounsaturated and omega-3 fatty acids that not only enhance lycopene absorption but also provide their own anti-inflammatory and prostate protective benefits. This synergistic combination is a cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet, which is consistently associated with lower rates of prostate disease, cardiovascular problems, and overall mortality in men. Practical application of this knowledge is simple but powerful. When you prepare tomato sauce, cook it with generous amounts of olive oil. When you eat a salad with fresh tomatoes, dress it with olive oil and add sliced avocado or a handful of nuts. When you make a tomato-based soup or stew, include healthy fats in the recipe. These small changes in food preparation and combination have massive impacts on your long-term health outcomes. Research shows that men who follow eating patterns similar to the Mediterranean diet, which is rich in tomatoes, olive oil, vegetables, fish, and nuts, have significantly lower rates of aggressive prostate cancer and better outcomes if cancer does develop. This is not about one magic food or supplement. This is about intelligent food combinations and preparation methods that work with your body's natural biochemistry to maximize protection and minimize disease risk. These small, consistent choices compound over time into major health advantages. Before we dive in, I want to share something special with you. I have created a 21-day challenge designed to help reduce and prevent prostate enlargement with simple exercises you can do in less than 15 minutes a day. Do not wait. Grab your copy of the ebook right now. The link is pinned at the very top of the comments. The fourth category that deserves your attention is ultra-processed foods and the chemical additives they contain, including preservatives, artificial colors, and nitrites that are commonly found in processed meats like hot dogs, sausages, deli meats, and pre-packaged meals. These chemicals increase oxidative stress in your cells, which is a fancy way of saying they damage the DNA and cellular structures in your prostate tissue. Oxidative stress is directly linked to inflammation, accelerated cellular aging, and increased risk of abnormal cell growth, including cancer. Nitrites, which are used to preserve color and prevent bacterial growth in processed meats, are particularly concerning because they can form compounds called nitrosamines in your body, especially when exposed to high heat during cooking. Nitrosamines are known carcinogens, and while the occasional hot dog or slice of deli meat is unlikely to cause significant harm, regular consumption of these foods adds up over time and creates a cumulative burden of oxidative stress that your prostate has to deal with. Beyond the chemical additives, ultra-processed foods are generally very low in the nutrients that protect your prostate, such as antioxidants, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. They are high in sodium, unhealthy fats, and refined carbohydrates, which we have already discussed as problematic. So when you eat ultra-processed foods, you are not just adding harmful substances. You are also missing out on the protective nutrients that should be coming from whole, fresh foods. The principle here is simple and powerful. The more natural and fresh your food is, the better your body responds and the healthier your prostate stays. Focus on whole foods that look like they came from nature rather than from a factory. Choose fresh vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, nuts, seeds, and minimally processed proteins like fresh fish, chicken, and eggs. When you do use packaged foods, read the ingredient list and avoid products with long lists of chemicals you cannot pronounce. This shift away from ultra-processed foods reduces oxidative stress, lowers inflammation, and gives your prostate the nutrients it needs to function and repair itself properly. While tomatoes are beneficial for prostate health in the vast majority of men, I want to acknowledge that there are specific situations where some individuals may experience discomfort from tomatoes, and it is important to understand these exceptions so you can make informed choices based on your own body's responses. The discomfort some people experience has nothing to do with prostate health and everything to do with digestive sensitivity and individual tolerance. People who suffer from gastroesophageal reflux disease, commonly called GERD or acid reflux, may find that acidic foods including tomatoes trigger symptoms like heartburn, chest discomfort, or regurgitation. Similarly, individuals with gastritis or stomach ulcers may experience increased pain or irritation when they consume tomatoes or other acidic foods. If you fall into one of these categories, you may need to limit or temporarily avoid tomatoes while you address the underlying digestive issue with appropriate medical treatment. The key point here is that digestive discomfort from tomatoes is an individual response related to your gastrointestinal system, not a universal problem or a sign that tomatoes are harmful to your prostate. For men with reflux or gastritis, the solution is not to spread fear about tomatoes being dangerous for everyone. The solution is to work with your doctor or a registered dietitian to adjust your diet in a way that manages your specific condition while still providing the nutrients your body needs. Dietary recommendations should always be individualized based on your personal health history, current symptoms, and medical conditions. What works perfectly for one person may need modification for another. This is why I always emphasize the importance of consulting with qualified healthcare professionals before making major changes to your diet or excluding entire food groups. Blanket statements about foods being universally good or bad ignore the complexity of human biology and individual variation. Listen to your body, work with your medical team, and make decisions based on evidence rather than fear. Join the Members Club. Drop a super like if this video has cleared up your confusion about tomatoes and prostate health, and share this information with any man who has been avoiding tomatoes because of unfounded fears. Let me give you the bottom line message that ties everything together and provides you with a clear path forward. No single food, whether tomato or anything else, causes or prevents disease on its own. Health and disease are determined by patterns of behavior over time, not by isolated food choices. What matters is your overall dietary pattern, your lifestyle habits, your stress levels, your sleep quality, your physical activity, and your commitment to regular medical care and screening. Tomatoes are just one component of a larger picture, and for the vast majority of men, they are a beneficial component that supports rather than harms prostate health. The scientific evidence is clear and consistent. Tomatoes, particularly when cooked and combined with healthy fats, provide significant prostate protective benefits through their high lycopene content and antioxidant properties. Men who regularly consume tomato-based foods show lower rates of prostate disease across multiple studies and populations. The myth that tomatoes are dangerous to the prostate is not supported by any credible research, and perpetuating this myth prevents men from accessing a valuable tool for disease prevention. The best prevention strategy is to seek out high-quality information from reliable sources, adopt a balanced eating pattern rich in vegetables, healthy fats, lean proteins, and whole grains, maintain a healthy weight through regular physical activity, limit your intake of processed foods, excess alcohol, and refined sugars, and maintain regular communication with your healthcare providers, including annual prostate screenings after age 50. Tomatoes fit beautifully into this preventive lifestyle as an ally for your prostate health, not an enemy. Make informed choices based on science, not fear, and your prostate will thank you for it.